Hello friends and colleagues, I'm Stanislav Chernog, the author and creator of the online school of vector massage and somatics, and today we will tell you about the numbness of the hands. Numb hands is a story that happens to a huge number of people. An important point here is the understanding that if your hands go numb, especially if they also turn blue, then this is not normal. This is a manifestation of serious pathological processes. It is very important to understand that if you have the slightest degree of hand numbness, then this situation will almost certainly worsen. And almost certainly, if you do not deal with hand numbness and it will worsen, then this will become a disability. In some cases, people simply won't be able to raise their arms. In some cases, they will have problems with blood stasis, potentially leading to blood clots and death from the fact that these blood clots got somewhere wrong. Or in some cases, in order to use your hands normally, you will have to do operations. And if you don't do these operations, it can potentially lead to loss of limbs. In short, it is better to deal with prevention when you realize that you have numbness of the limbs, in particular the hands, than to wait until it becomes a truly terrible disease. It must be clearly understood that there are several types of hand numbness. The first story is when you just slept on it, pinched the blood vessels, and the blood does not enter your arm. If this happens during sleep or your loved one lay on your shoulder, this manifests itself in the fact that when you restore blood circulation, you get goosebumps. This is a clear sign that the situation was related to the fact that you was having pinched vessel. There are other types of numbness, which are due to the fact that something in the body is pinched, something in the body becomes inflamed and reduces the passage, and as a result the veins, arteries, vessels and lymphatic vessels are pinched. This leads to the fact that the circulation of fluid in the hand is systematically disturbed. This leads to the fact that the control of the hand is systematically disturbed. This is what leads to those terrible consequences that I just told you about. Let's talk about the main option for why hands go numb. It is important to understand that there are several points where the problem occurs, where a vessel or a nerve is pinched, and we will look at the main causes of hand numbness. The first reason is due to the fact that there are scalene muscles, between which nerves and blood vessels pass. The first and perhaps the most common reason is the jamming of the interscalene space. The interscalene space is located above the collarbone on the side of the neck. There are several muscles. A nerve and a large artery pass between the anterior and the middle scalene muscles. If these muscles are in the excessively tense state, this leads to the fact that the nerve and artery are pinched. This leads to a violation of the innervation and blood supply in the hand. The second reason is a problem with the pectoralis minor. The pectoralis minor muscle also compresses the nerve and in addition changes our posture and causes excruciating back pain. And the third reason is the problem of pinched nerves at the exit from the spine. That's what we're going to make today's video about. We told and showed you how our model in one position of her head cannot hold her hand, and in another position of her head, she holds her hand quite confidently. Let's see how it works. The fact is that in order to normally control the hand, the body needs to give a nerve signal there. If the nerves are compressed, that is, they pass in a space too narrow, the brain is not able to convey a signal to the muscle that the muscle should work. Accordingly, at the moment when the nerve is pinched, the muscle does not work. At the moment when the nerve passes freely, the muscle begins to work. This is exactly what we are seeing. At the moment when the head is turned upright, our hand does not work. At the moment when we turn our head, we displace the vertebrae so that the nerve can access the spine freely. And so this leads us to amplification. But our model cannot walk all the time with her head turned 45 degrees to the right because she would most likely want to look forward. We need to come up with some way to make our model's arm work and with a normal symmetrical body position. The way to understand how to bring the body into such a state that the body can keep the load in the problem area is to understand which particular muscle is underutilized. The fact is that each of our cervical vertebrae stretches with different muscles in different directions. If there is a narrow space in some place, then in order to increase this space, then quite possibly it is necessary to strengthen some muscle which will move the vertebra into place and thus free the passage for the nerves. I know which muscle does the 45-degree head turn when lying down. This muscle, which is a part of the group of long extensors, which is called the iliopsoas muscle of the chest. I have an idea that this muscle is responsible for the fact that it does not work enough, and as a result, it does not allow the vertebra to stay in place. It is too weak to hold the vertebra in the correct position, so the nerve is pinched. I have such a hypothesis. I can test it. I know where this muscle is attached, and I'll check my idea now. I ask our model to raise her hand. I place my finger on the insertion of the iliocostal muscle of the chest, and I ask to hold the hand. Missed. One more time. Missed. And the third time. And on the third try, I got it. I found exactly the place in my patient's back that allows the body to hold the load that came in that direction. My idea that the problems with the hand are associated with a pinched nerve was confirmed. Now my task is to make sure that the body always remembers that this muscle should work when there is a load on the arm. How do I do it? I find the point, and this point is sensitive, and I definitely prove my guesses with literal sensory sensitivity. It is important for me to find the point. It is important to work on it correctly. Breathe with the patient. We do a lot of important things. Now, I worked with the muscle for a while, and in the upright position of the head, I retest the hand. Please note that if in the previous frame the head didn't allow the hand to work normally, now the hand continues to be held in this position. Let's do a few head turns in order to understand how stable our result is. And we find that our hand is still stable. The fact is that any manipulation with the body distracts the body, and now we have been carrying out treatment related exactly to the fact that we have retrained the brain. Now we distracted the brain with some movement, and we found that the body remembered the information that we submitted to the muscle, to the brain, and the result was more or less stable. After we activated the muscle that put the vertebra in place and thus allowed the nerve to pass smoothly into this space, this led to a harmonization of the muscle tone in the body of our patient. And now the main task is to accustom the brain to regularly turn on this muscle. Therefore, I will give my patient a task so that she learns to feel where this muscle is and trains it regularly. In order to understand what kind of muscle this is, I bring this muscle into a state of shortening, find its place of attachment, and ask my patient to press on my arm with the back of her head. The model wants to turn her head in the upright direction because it is due to the fact that she does not know how to use the muscle that works in this direction. I ask my model to remember in which position she performs the load, and it is this load that will be healing for her. It is very important, in addition to the fact that the body is now involuntarily remembering a new movement for itself, learning, it is very important that at the same time I continue to put pressure on the place of attachment. Thus, specific neurons in the brain remember the geographical location of this muscle. Accordingly, two levels of learning occur simultaneously. The person remembers movement, the person remembers location. This information sewn into one big information allows the person to change the picture of the bodily world, move differently, live differently, and perhaps, if this cause is isolated from the whole body, we will get an instant cure. Thus, we have analyzed with you the three main causes of hand numbness. Remember that this problem is serious, that it is better to start dealing with it as early as possible, as soon as you find yourself with numb hands. Remember that due to the fact that we as massage therapists work in an inclined position, this problem is especially relevant for massage therapists. Thank you for watching this video to the end. With you as always was Stanislav Chernog, the author and creator of the online school of Vector Massage and Somatics and the YouTube channel of the same name, the channel where we teach you how to do massage, teach you how to stay healthy and earn good money at the same time. See you again, friends. Goodbye.